Wolves really have an allure for people. They're beautiful, majestic animals. I think there's a natural curiosity about wolves. We grew up learning that wolves are dangerous, vicious, aggressive animals. In reality, it could not be further from the truth. Wolves are naturally fearful animals. Their survival strategy is really to avoid humans. That's the biggest threat to them as an apex predator, humans.
My name is Georgina, and I'm the founder of Yamnuska Wolfdog Sanctuary. We're a facility that rescues wolf dogs to give them the second chance that they need. We also focus on educational programs about wolves in the wild, as well as responsible wolf dog ownership. The sanctuary sits on 160 acres just west of Cochrane, Alberta. We provide rescued wolf dogs with large enclosures that they can live out their lives in an environment that's perfectly suited for them.
Back in the day, you had pure wolves living in fur farms as a commodity for their pelts. When the fur trade died down here in North America, there was still a lot of these captive bred tame wolves. They were matched with some of the first dogs to create your first generation of wolf dogs.
Banff National Park is probably the iconic park in Canada here. We attract over 4 million visitors a year. You know, there's not that many places where you can actually go and see wild wolves on the landscape. In the 50s and 60s, wolves weren't looked at as an animal that they wanted in a park here, so they were poisoned, they were shot, they were killed, and most of the wolves disappeared. In the mid-80s, this pack came back on the landscape. We call them the Bow Valley Pack. Right now it consists of 6 members. Wolves act naturally in the wild. They got to fend for themselves. They're always having to look for prey and hunt. They work as a group, very social amongst themselves. They're wary of people and they tend to stay somewhat hidden.
There's a reason why it took humans thousands of years to domesticate dogs from wolves. They are a function of their genetic makeup. They don't intentionally want to be difficult animals and difficult to be a companion animal. There's just a lot of wolf dogs that end up with people that don't know what they're signing themselves up for. You work 8 hours a day. You're going to learn very quickly that it's impossible to make that lifestyle work. You're basically asking this animal to disregard its instinctual behaviors, which is impossible. A lot of people that end up with wolf dogs that aren't able to care for them, the only option is euthanizing them. The popularity of wolf dogs is only increasing. The biggest reason why people end up getting wolf dogs is for the cool factor. People that don't know what they're signing themselves up for.
15 to 20 wolf dogs come through a year. Maybe 80% of the wolf dogs that have come in, if we hadn't taken them here, The only other option would have been euthanasia.
Somebody's got to do something about it and educate people about it as well.
I think the in-between something is the most misunderstood. Come, Selkirk. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Georgina was an animal lover. When we came to Canada, Georgina didn't speak the language. We promised that we would get an extra dog. She came home to play here with the dogs, look after the animals, look after the chickens. She has done that from day one.
Growing up, I always had a keen interest in animals. Grew up on the other side of a native reservation. I basically grew up just taking in these stray dogs.
So that was essentially my introduction to rescuing dogs. It really helped me build a solid foundation to work with wolf dogs. I think I was the typical person that ends up with a wolf dog that really had no business owning one. I was 19 years old and thought that I had what it took.
When she got Kuna in 2009, she realized that it is not easy to own a wolf dog.
At that point in time, I had several years of experience dealing with the feral reserve dogs. I had worked with wolf dogs. And so here I thought, I'm gonna get a puppy, I'm going to raise it in my house, and we're going to live happily ever after. That didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go.
She kind of made the mistakes that a lot of people make. Went out and got Kuna, which is a high content wolf dog. Really, no one without a significant amount of experience should ever own an animal like that.
She taught me firsthand the typical way that people end up with wolf dogs, end up having to rehome them. Here I was driving to the city university, and I had a high content wolf dog I needed to take care of.
Georgina would get a phone call like, hey, she's like going crazy in the house, like you need to get home. She'd leave school and rush home, figure out whatever the situation might be that day.
If we would have known it, I would have said never. But I got sucked into it.
I was treating her like an animal that is supposed to have an affinity towards humans, is supposed to want to please humans, and she's not like that.
I was in for a bit of a reality check, and I had some major decisions to make, and in all honesty, major sacrifices to make in order to make this relationship work.
I think a lot of people get wolf dogs thinking it's going to act like a normal dog if they put the work in. Regardless of if they're low, mid, or high, any wolf dog is going to be challenging for most people.
Wolf dogs can be very destructive. Wolves explore the world with their teeth. She was super destructive in the house, pretty much tore apart everything she'd get her teeth on.
I mean, she chewed so much, like she destroyed so much of that house. Georgina's dad, he commonly will comment about that.
This house is destroyed. I can show you what Kuna did to this house. The green is all scratched. My arms are full of scratches. All these are markings, so they're my eternal memory from Kuna. The wolf is awake, sleeping. Always alert about their surroundings. I learned to sleep like a wolf. You get up, they get up. You get 15 minutes, then she wants to go out. Knocking on the door, after 10 minutes, wanted to come back in. In, out, all night long. So you can do that for one night, 2 nights, and then you need a breather from that. That was the biggest reality check. I said, oh my God, this isn't easy. This is going to be a rough ride.
It was probably the only time in my life ever where I thought that I may have to give up on this animal, that I truly wasn't able to give Kuna what she needed to be happy and the right life. And that was really difficult for me because, you know, especially at that point in my life, I thought I could fix every animal, I could fix anything. Kuna was the first animal that really made me doubt that.
It caused a lot of stress around the house and in the family because this was ridiculous. We were more living in a prison to save ourselves and to get a breather from living with these animals.
She was making it very clear she was not happy with me. She was not happy with her living situation. In her moments of anger, it was snarling, snapping, because I wasn't listening to all the subtle ways she was telling me things.
To see someone actually get a high content wolf dog and make that work is, yeah, it's not something you really see often. A high content wolf dog is on a different level.
In the wintertime, the wolves tend to come closer to the town site because this is where all the elk and the deer tend to congregate. The elk come closer to the town site because they look at that as a bit of a refuge, trying to get away from their predators. With bigger ungulates such as elk, it sometimes takes several wolves to take an elk down, so you know they'll hunt as a group.
So what we have here is wolf kill. So the Bow Valley wolf pack came through this area a couple weeks ago and killed an elk here, and not even bones scattered around here, just a little bit of stomach contents, the rumen left. The site's quite clean here, and this is what's the result of a wolf kill.
Almost weekly that we see wolves in close to the town site. If wolves find unnatural food, you know, we call them food condition. We don't have a lot of wolf attacks, but do happen on occasion, and it's usually wolves that have become food conditioned. They're just seeking that reward, and if they're not finding it, they could attack a person. We have to come in as wildlife managers and deal with that situation, and a lot of times it results in the death of the wolf.
There are animals that don't care to please humans. With dogs, we can teach them with treats, with positive reinforcement, to a point where they don't need a reward. With wolf dogs, they always need a reward. They're only doing it because there's something in it for them.
Even with coon, you always need to be on your guard because you can't tame them. They're not domesticated. You don't know how the animal reacts. Is it going to freak out? That was the biggest reality check.
There very much was a moment that I realized I needed to shift gears and truly establish a relationship with Kuna. I mean, it might sound silly, but she was really mean to me and she made me cry. That's kind of what I needed to realize, that all these things that I'm doing, it's not working. Treating her like a dog is not working. Just got so much in my head that I stopped doing what I'm good at doing, which is paying attention to the communication of an animal, read what they're trying to tell me. And so take a step back, reevaluate, and pay attention to what she's trying to tell me. Once I started listening to what she was trying to say, it became easy to realize that she was me in a canine version. She was stubborn, she had boundaries. She has to have things her way or the highway, and if she didn't get those things, she was gonna let somebody know, and that somebody was me. Once she realized that, hey, this human is actually starting to understand me, she was way more patient with me and way more forgiving and tolerant, and opened up the space in her heart to allow me in there and help form that bond. I saw the sliver of hope that I needed to realize that, you know what, I can change the things that I need to change about myself and how I interact with this animal to be able to give her the life she needs. Just truly accepting her the way she was That is what allowed her to trust me and for us to truly build a relationship. It was creating a relationship really built on trust and respect. Given how many struggles we went through, it just strengthened our bond for sure.
When Georgina had the enclosure built to proper containing standards, then things got a little bit easier. But then Zeus stayed here, and she got Nikki, and then Nova, and then Timber. She used Kuna to re-educate these mid-content wolf dogs. Then she would screen people to place them. It was her passion. It was her life.
When I first met her, you know, this girl who seemed so passionate and kind, I remember talking to her just a bit about things, and it was like, so you're doing this like by yourself? And she's like, yeah, you know, it's just me here. And I started this, I run this, I kind of do it all. I was really kind of blown away by that.
We knew that Georgina was never ever gonna work as an engineer. She made it very clear to us. I was very disappointed. How are you gonna make a living with rescuing animals? I didn't see it. Georgina was subsidized by her mom and by me. All her siblings thought that she was crazy. They didn't see it. We didn't see it. We didn't believe in it.
It was just Georgina, you know, a really busy, active period of time. Some of the big struggles were getting things going, getting things off the ground. Not a lot of people knew about it. From a financial standpoint, we had 5 high-content wolf dogs to look after, feed. Just a lot of struggles with that.
It was called then already Yamnuska Wolfdog Sanctuary. The visitors would come through the double gate there, park in the front of the house, come through the gate here, then the tours could start. After 2 years, her time slots were always full. When we noticed that Georgina was good at doing what she did, doing so well with these animals, and the trust that she had with the animals, said, oh my God, she's really good at this. We better support this.
As the word got out, Discovery Banff Tours found out about it and were like, hey, you know, I think you've really got something here and I think we can, you know, help you with this. So they started handling all the bookings and reservation system, which really got the word out there. So then things got busier.
It got busier and busier, and our neighbor was not impressed that Georgina was running a sanctuary here, because what she was locally doing was not a permitted use of the land.
The sanctuary was growing, there was more visitation, increasing rescues going on, and a lot of times owners didn't seem too psyched to have all these wolf dogs there and have all these people. It became very clear that something was going to need to change.
So I had a stop order. I didn't have to move out, but my animals had to be gone and I couldn't do what I do. But if my animals are going, I'm going. I think that was so traumatic.
She was given a year to move and transition out of here, which was basically impossible.
I went through the process of rezoning that piece of land, all of that, and then they denied the rezoning. I can look back now and realize that they were never going to rezone that piece of land. They were just very set in their way of thinking, and that helped open my eyes to how many people in this world still have these misconceptions about wolf dogs and really are unwilling to, I think, open their eyes and learn. One of the arguments was those animals shouldn't be there because they're dangerous.
Wolf dog challenges, the big ones are their master escape artists. 6-foot fencing is usually not enough for them. It's usually got to be at least 6 foot with an overhang and dig guards.
We had to put a ceiling over it because it was only 7 feet high. It's not just fencing, okay? We're talking here of 2 feet overhang and 2 feet dig guards. Because these guys are escape artists, they dig, they climb.
They're going to have a prey drive and perhaps want to scale the fence. And if it's that easy for them to scale it, they're going to do it. They have prey drives, they have intense behaviors, especially the ones with more wolf content.
They get distracted, there is a coyote out there or deer that they see, and if a wolf dog gets out, they will get shot, they will get killed.
We had a call that there was a wolf coming in to the town site and was actually observed on some of the streets, running down the street, and it was chasing a deer at one point in time. Its behavior was not normal for a wolf. A vehicle would stop to look at it and it would approach the vehicle like it was looking for something.
Down dispatch, Bravo 24, copy.
Bravo 24, dispatch, go ahead.
Looks like we got a wolf in the Hillsdale.
The way it moved on the landscape and how it interacted with people, we just didn't really know what we were dealing with. Because of concerns about its habituation around people, we decided to euthanize this animal. We keep samples from the carnivores that we deal with here.
So here we have a female. As I look at the teeth, I see quite a bit of wear on the canine, and the front incisors are wore down also. All indications are this is an older animal, at least 8 years old, if not older. Overall, this animal's in very poor shape, emaciated, was definitely struggling to find enough food to sustain itself. Overall, she's just in poor health. We got some tissue sample from it and sent it to a lab where they're able to analyze that DNA. We got a report back indicating that this was a wolf-dog hybrid. First wolf-dog that we've dealt with here in Banff National Park.
Kind of thinking amongst us, well, where did this animal come from? Did somebody have it as a pet and were tired of it and couldn't handle it and just brought it to the park and drop them off, hoping that somebody else will kind of take them in and look after them?
Whether it's breeders that just choose to not educate owners, or owners that think that they'll be able to handle the wolf dog, it's a pretty overwhelming experience.
Not a regulated industry. It's profit driven. It's a lot more that exotic pet trade. Like, it's totally played up to be this really cool animal. The reality of it is that they're shy, timid, fearful. They have a lot of challenges, and that side of things gets left out of it.
The biggest reason why people fail with owning wolf dogs is they buy one from a breeder, not having any clue what it's going to be like. And so if you make a blind decision like that, you're basically guaranteeing failure. Even if laws are put in place that prohibit the breeding of wolf dogs, in all honesty, it's still going to happen. They're going to get bred.
Georgina knew she could not stay here with the animals. She saw that, okay, there is struggles in life, not everything is a given. You need to work at it and do it again. You fail, stand up, do it again. If I want to do this further and take it to the next level, I need to get a bigger place.
I was on a deadline of when I had to be gone on that original piece of land with my animals without knowing where I'm going to go.
Georgina was basically looking for properties around. Then they found this 160 acres property west of Cochrane.
We actually had to buy this piece of land before we could apply for the permits to be able to do what we needed to do. So here we are buying a piece of land, not knowing if we're even going to be able to get the permits that we need to run a sanctuary for wolf dogs. So that was a huge risk. I needed the financial support to be able to purchase a piece of land. Here I was, 21, 22 years old, honestly not really understanding and knowing how the world works. And so my dad was really there to help guide me. My mom was able to provide the financial support to be able to secure the piece of land that we needed to be able to move. If I didn't have the support of both my parents, that would have been the end of the sanctuary.
It was perfect. There was a house, there was a barn. Georgina had already a vision of how she was going to lay it all out. Where are the wolf dogs? Where is the visiting enclosure?
I wanted a facility that has a proper layout. Some of the largest enclosures that you'll see anywhere, but ultimately just be able to give these animals the best life that they can have. I am learning every single possible lesson that I can from every experience that an animal has given me. Deep down, I always knew that that was my life's purpose.
That it would become this big, this quick, not even in my wildest dreams, and I'm sure not in Georgina.
She is so smart when it comes to doing the right things at the right time, not overreaching or growing too fast. She just really seems to have everything so planned out and so well put together. The rate of growth the sanctuary's seen since then is just, it's so crazy. She's kind of been prepared for it somehow every step of the way.
You have to take risks for the reward. But I'm not blind to the fact that you do need some luck to help you out as well.
Her passion is her biggest strength. She's one of the most determined people I've ever met. And those two things together is what has allowed her to grow this place to be what it is today and to keep growing.
One of the biggest reasons that the sanctuary is successful as it is today is because I learned from every experience that we went through and was very analytical about it. You know, what are the problems and how can we change things to improve the animal care, the visitor experience, the educational component. And that's how we were able to organically evolve and kind of create the facility that we have today.
Believe it or not, in all the time I've known Georgina, I've never once seen her question this. It has been completely unwavering. Everything was all in. It's working. We're making this happen.
When we came from Belgium to Canada and we gave up a plush lifestyle, we realized that success is not granted. You're gonna have to work for it.
Strength, determination, she's just so determined.
It is blood, sweat and tears.
You can't appreciate any of the good without living the bad. Ultimately, going through those challenges, those obstacles, that provides the opportunities for change, for growth, for expansion of ideas. That's what keeps life interesting. We're the only wolf dog rescue here in Canada. Probably at least half of the wolf dogs that come through the sanctuary end up being permanent residents here. We only adopt out the wolf dogs that have a small amount of wolf content in them in order for us to provide them the daily care that they need and be able to expand to take in new animals. We need funding for that.
You need to feed them every day. These 37 guys have a good appetite and they mainly eat meat.
You walk a very fine line so that there is the revenue to keep the doors open and do what we do and help the animals, while also making sure the visitations are not negatively affecting the well-being of them. It's a big undertaking, and that's really why we can use as much help as we can get. My favorite part of the day is going in with the different packs and just spending time with them. They approach me, they wag their tails, they lick my face, and they actually want to be around me. So I think that's something that's really special because I've earned that.
I'm proud of Georgina. Success is not guaranteed. It's passion, hard work, and 200% dedication.
I have been able to rack up a whole lot of life experience and been able to read the body language that animals are giving me and learning every single possible lesson that I can from every experience that an animal has given me. I truly believe that's my purpose. Deep down, I always knew that that was what I'm supposed to do in this life.
Be persistent. Go for it all the way.
Wolves and wolf dogs, they are sentient, feeling animals. They deserve a lot more respect than I think human beings generally give them.
If animals need to be rescued and it is euthanasia or rescue, I know that she will step up again. That makes a dad very proud.
I'm in it for the long haul for sure. I love the animals and I could never walk away from them.
Where is it gonna end? I don't know. But she will make sure that the freezers are always full.
Not very many people get to have their dream job. That I get to do that and be with the animals that I love, that's what keeps me going.
The more time that I spend with them, I realize that they've rubbed off on me a little bit. Maybe I was a wolf in another life.
Between dog and wolf.
I fall down when you're mine. I get up and you're a stranger. Out of sight, out of mind. No wanting to surrender. We put up a good fight for deer in a headlight, like a moth to a spark, catching fire before it ever starts. I guess I should have said I'll let you down. I'll make you feel like nothing but a fool, like just another thrill. And I'll take you high, ooh, then I'll push you out.
You find here on the table, there will be for sure all these scratches. They're kuna, there are teeth marks, and they're everywhere.